So I have to come clean. You know those cliche food bloggery white people rice bowls? Well, I actually really like them. I mean, not the dishes usually, no shade, I'm just not that into canned tuna and sriracha. But the style of eating, I'm into. Because, like, the standard Chinese way to go at rice is great and all, but sometimes for me, I just like a big bowl of rice, and I like a bunch of saucy stuff over it. It's, I don't know, it's probably the American in me. But luckily, if you're anything like me, these things also exist in China too, in a way. Because these are Cantonese Diptoufan, rice plates, and trust me that they will hit that spot. You can find them, especially around lunchtime, in Cantonese roast meat houses, also in Cantonese fast food stir fry joints, and also in chatsantings or Canto Western diners. The OG version here is undeniably the aforementioned roast meat. As early as the 1920s, in Guangzhou, they'd be a common choice at a sort of eatery called a sausage house, where cured or roast meats over rice were one popular option among the city's working class nandim, or lunch spots. Of course, as we've explored on this channel before, Cantonese roast meats are pretty infamously difficult to execute well, especially at home. So luckily these days, roast goose is far from the only name of the game. So today, we'll show you a couple reasonably easy diptofan choices. First,滑蛋牛肉饭, an absurdly saucy beef and egg to smother all over your rice. Second, 滑鸡饭, one of those simple and good classics. And finally, 炒蛋饭, which needs no introduction. Spam, hot dog, and fried egg, together with a seasoned soy sauce. Now, to get this out of the way at first, if beef plus egg strikes you as a little strange, I would definitely implore you to break free from your temporal shackles that chain eggs to breakfast. It's a fantastic combination, just ask Australia, and it's a Cantonese classic for a reason. You can find it everywhere from a humble scrambled egg to traditional banquet dishes like Westlake beef egg soup. You could maybe think of this specific dish as something kind of halfway between those two things, sort of like an egg drop sauce. To make it, we'll first just slice up 150 grams of lean beef, something like loin would be fine, against the grain into 2mm wide slices. Then we'll marinate that with a quarter teaspoon of salt, half tablespoon cornstarch, half teaspoon liaojiu aka Shaoxing wine, a quarter teaspoon each of soy sauce and dark soy for color, an eighth teaspoon of sodium carbonate, and consoy would also work great, 2 tablespoons of water, and an eighth teaspoon of white pepper powder. Massage that all in well. Then to that, crack in the white from about a half an egg, reserving the remainder. Massage that in again, and coat it all with about a half tablespoon of oil. Then to that reserved half an egg and change, crack in another egg and season that with a quarter teaspoon of Shaoxing wine. Then just go at it. Beat that well until foamy and no stray strands of egg white remain, and then set that aside. Then, as this is a saucy dish, let's also prepare a pre-prepared sauce to make our life a bit easier later. So, 1.5 cups of stock. Ideally a Chinese stock, but a Western chicken stock's okay too, as long as it's not crazy herb heavy. And then to that, just mix in a quarter teaspoon each salt, MSG chicken bouillon powder, a half teaspoon of sugar, a quarter teaspoon white pepper, mix well, and then we can start our stir fry. And to do so, we'll first give our beef a quick pass through oil, that is, a brief shallow fry. So 1 cup of oil, maybe 1.5 cups if you're in a flat bottom, get that up to 140 C over a medium-high flame. Then just dip in your beef and cook that until it's done, or about 30 seconds. Then remove, drain, and dip out your excess oil. Then, with about a tablespoon of oil now, give that a swirl, and over a medium-low flame, go in with about a half an inch of minced ginger, and the white part from 2 scallions, also minced. Fry those until they're fragrant, about 30 seconds. Then swirl in a teaspoon worth of Shaoxing wine. Give that a stir, dump in your pre-prepared sauce, and get that up to a boil. Then add in your previously fried beef, and once that's all back up to a boil, swap your flame to low, and then it's at this point that we can thicken. To do so, Just grab a slurry of 3 tablespoons of starch, mixed with an equal amount of water, and then just add that in bit by bit, keeping an eye to make sure that it's not over or under thickened. We here were looking pretty good, so now you can drop in your egg using the spatula flip technique. That is, flicking it in bit by bit, aiming for the empty spots. Then once that's all in, swap your flame back to high. Once it's just barely starting to set, about 30 seconds later, start to pull your soup sauce from the bottom up, layering it a bit like you would a scrambled egg. Then once it's completely set for good, heat off, sprinkle over the remainder of the sliced scallion. And then with that, your saucy beef and egg is done, perfect to smother over way too much rice. Then next up, the wok gai fan, or the chicken and shiitake stir fry. Now, obviously, chicken plus shiitake is very much a well-trodden flavor in Cantonese cookery. I mean, you can even find it in instant noodle form. But in homes, I think you'll usually see chicken and shiitake steamed or stewed. So I think maybe you could think of this specific dish as kind of like the fast food stir-fry version of that classic flavor profile. So then to start with, you will need some dried shiitake mushroom, 2 specifically, soaked with 1 cup of cool water for at least 4 hours, and overnight would also be okay too. Then, after that time, squeeze out any of the excess liquid from the mushroom, and then of course reserve that liquid as it will form the foundation of the dish, discarding any sediment. Then, from the mushrooms, snip off the stems, toss or save for another use, and dice them up into about 1 centimeter chunks. Then marinate those components, which will be up here on the screen, then mix well and set aside. And then for said liquid, like the beef, we'll also prepare that into a pre-prepared sauce, components similarly up here on the screen, and after a good mix, also set that aside. Then for the chicken, we'll be working from 375 grams of deboned chicken thigh, chopped into 1-inch chunks, and, you guessed it, mixed with a marinade, components as such, then coated with oil about a tablespoon, and then now we can fry. So, again, just like the beef, we'll be starting this off by passing through oil as well. But this time, we'll get our oil up a bit hotter, about 170 centigrade, and fry our chicken until it's cooked through, or about 1 minute. Then remove the chicken, let that drain, and dip out the oil. Then, swirl in a tablespoon of oil, and then go in with a 1/2 inch worth of sliced ginger and 2 scallion whites cut into 1-inch sections. Over a medium-low flame now, fry those until they're fragrant, about 30 seconds. Then add in the mushrooms and fry those until they're fragrant, a bit longer, about 2 minutes. Then up your flame to high. Swirl in a teaspoon of Shaoxing wine, and after a quick mix, toss in your pre-prepared sauce. Bring that all up to a boil. Boil it for about a minute to infuse it with a bit more mushroom flavor. Then toss in the chicken and boil for another 2 minutes to absorb a bit of said flavor. Then thicken that with a slurry of a tablespoon half of starch and an equal part of water. And once that's all thickened to your liking, add in the remainder of your scallion and then top it all off with a 1/2 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. Out, smother it over some rice, and then your chicken and shiitake is also done. Then finally, Diptoufan-ify. Now, I'm aware that this looks kinda junky, but of the 3, it is, we think, actually the closest to those cured meat/roast meat plates. It's just, instead of lapchung and seoyok, it's hot dog and spam. The common thread there, outside the plating, is the seasoned soy sauce, which is just a simple mix of a tablespoon of soy sauce, a teaspoon of fish sauce, an 1/8 teaspoon each salt and MSG, a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, and a tablespoon half of water, though different restaurants will have different mixes. Then just fry up whatever you feel like frying up, spam, hot dogs, fried eggs, whatever, and then in the same pan, dip out the excess oil, but no need to wash. Just add in the previously seasoned soy sauce, bring it all up to a boil, reserve it to the side, and drizzle it generously all over your hot dog fried egg plate.
So, Diptoufan, you can put anything you like on it, just like 餐蛋饭. If you want to put like a full English breakfast on it, why not? Go for it. But just remember to also include the seasoned soy sauce. So right, as always, recipe in description box. A big thank you for everyone that's supporting us on Patreon, and of course, subscribe for more Chinese cooking videos.